There's nothing that replaces experience. I recently ordered a bunch of acoustic panels because this time I just didn't have the time to build it myself. I also don't have the tools. I don't have the manpower. Last time I had a lot of help when I built every panel in my studio. In this new room, I'm building more panels. I'm not simply moving these because these panels I built are there's the Guilford of Maine fabric, but in the inside is Owens Corning 703, and I didn't wrap it in plastic or anything. So moving these, first of all, would be a nightmare because just shaking them around, moving them, putting them in the truck, crushing them a little, I mean, it's going to let that stuff into the air, and I wouldn't really be able to work here very well for a long time, and it would also probably ruin most of the panels because as you push into that stuff, it gets destroyed. So if you put like a handprint in it, it's not going to come back. It'll always have like some weird dented handprint in it. So moving this stuff was not really feasible. I also didn't want to bring the problems of these panels into that room, the new place. I'm more concerned with my health now than I was when I built these things, and I was practically eating all the fibers I was cutting it without a mask and doing a bunch of stupid stuff. Then I coughed for a month straight, maybe more, and then I realized how crazy it was to have done that. So I don't ever plan on doing that again. So this time, I also didn't have the time. I don't have the tools. Like I said, it's not even my background. Colt Caparoon is the kind of guy, that's his background, construction, not mine. So I basically ordered a bunch of panels. I ordered them from Music City Acoustics, and I have to say, there's nothing but good things to say about this company. They went out of their way to be very available for questions, very extremely knowledgeable, and as the stuff was going up, there was someone available to help answer the questions and figure anything out. They produced one of those like CAD drawing kind of things that showed where everything would go. It was a total layout of the space. We were able to basically do that to plan what was going in it, and it worked out very, very well. So I'm excited to show you the room and what's in it and all that stuff, but I want to go through this process of how it got here. The first step was a freight truck brought the stuff. Each pallet, I had 2 pallets full, and each pallet was approximately 1,800 pounds on a pallet. Not light. Now, if you ever got a freight delivery before, a lot of times they come and they drop it wherever they can get the pallet jack to. The first time this delivery driver showed up, like the first attempt at delivery, the delivery driver wasn't very experienced. He was clearly relatively new, didn't have a ton of years under his belt, and he wasn't able to get the stuff off the truck. As a result, he had to take it back. And the whole time while we were talking, I could sense it. He wanted me to refuse delivery, probably because he didn't want to try to get it off the truck, because he wasn't as experienced as someone who'd been doing this forever to know how to get something that big off the truck. It was just like I was watching, and you could tell sometimes when somebody knows what they're doing or doesn't. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I have no freight experience, but I just want to show you this. Look at this guy on the edge of this lift gate. All right, he's literally on the edge of the lift gate, and I don't know what he's planning. When he got here, he was trying to like turn it around. He wound up pulling it to here and then pushing it back in the truck and then pulling it to here and then and I was watching this. I'm like, that's when I started taking pictures. I was like, man, you sure you want to do what you're doing here? Because there was a moment where he was so far, he almost fell off the lift gate. And I pictured him falling. This pallet might not have been set so that it would basically stop rolling, and I was just picturing the whole thing rolling off, maybe even onto him, the poor guy. I didn't want him to hurt himself, and I'm over here thinking I also don't want the stuff to get trashed because, I said that. I was like, man, if you dump this stuff off the truck, like if this goes, I'm out of luck over here. And he's like, no, you just file a thing and, you'll get reimbursed from the company. And I'm like, no, I'm not waiting another month or, month and a couple weeks or whatever, 6 weeks to get this thing done. Like these were all built by hand, built to order. It's not like if there's this factory, they're just going to send me new ones. This isn't how it works. And I'm not going to fight with you guys and your company about, filing a claim. If anyone's ever filed a claim for anything, you know what I'm talking about. It's like, what a nightmare. I just want to get to work. So I'm watching this and I have to be like, no, 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 what's going on here? Like, I could tell he's just fiddling. He's fiddling around. So like, look at this. So he's on the edge of the lift, literally on the edge. I don't know what his plan was from here. Then over here, you on the edge. Look at the edge and look where he's at. That's where he's on the edge, man. Okay, and now this thing's not even halfway out. It might be maybe there's a third still in the truck, but I don't even think it's halfway out of the truck. Okay, so I'm like, and he was trying to turn it from there, and I was just, I don't know how to do this stuff because I'm not a freight guy, but I could tell this was all messed up. And I could also tell as he's looking over his shoulder to make sure he's not going to fall off the thing that this could go bad real quick. This could be a disaster. So I also wanted to show you these pictures. Anytime you guys get a freight delivery of any kind, make sure the forklift didn't damage it, because as it's getting moved around, forklifts can have a tendency to just put holes in things. So, this happened to turn out okay. Everything was fine. But, you want to look and make sure, like, see this damaged corner here? Like, just, you want to make sure nothing's seriously messed up. Everything turned out fine. Okay, but this is the pallet jack, too, that he used. You could tell. You could see it right there. Now, this first day, this guy back and forth to no avail. And I was like, what's going on? He's like, I can't get it off the truck. So because he couldn't get it off the truck, it was actually a saving grace. Sometimes things happen for a reason and you don't fight it. You don't it was like, look, I understand, you can't get it off the truck. So we call the company, can't get it off the truck. Now what? What's the deal? So tomorrow, this freight company agreed to send another guy who was more experienced. And that's where I say experience is everything, because the guy they sent was like Superman. Superman, not in the sense that he was an extremely strong guy, in a sense that he knew what he was doing beyond a shadow of a doubt, and he really made it work, because there wasn't a lot of leeway room to go in any direction. And I was just as scared, but watch what's going on here, all right? There's two videos. I'm going to show you this one first. Skip to the part that's good. So look, so check this out. He's pulling it out of the truck. He's pulling it out of the truck. If you notice, it's hanging off the edge. But look at the direction that this is happening, because experience is everything. This applies to mixing too, so I'm going to tie it in, because there's moments when you're mixing, you just got to crank stuff all the way. And the guys that go, let's go 1 dB, let's go 2 dB. Like it might need 1 or 2 dB if you're mastering, or if there's a little something you're trying to do, maybe. But you may also need 12 dB if it just ain't there and you got to make it there. And the way that you will learn what to do in what situation is to not be scared to do anything. The way you're not scared is because you know what will happen when you do it. You have the experience. And the way to get experience is just by doing. By doing a little more today than you did yesterday. And do that for a long enough time. Just don't stay stagnant. The biggest tip I could give you is stagnancy is terrible. If you stay stagnant, you'll be in the same place now 5 years from now. If you change something today and you do a little more today and you do the same thing tomorrow and the same thing the next day, the trajectory of where you're going will be completely different. Instead of you going like this, you will be rising up. And 5 years, just 1 year from now, you'll be in a totally different place. 5 years from now, you'll be in a whole different stratosphere. You see what I'm saying? It's a totally different thing. So check this out. I'm freaking out. I'm look at him. Now he's going down. Check it out. The lift gate's going down. Lift gate's going down. Look at that. Look at that. Now, this is what I wanted to point out. I mean, in terms of, nobody needs to know this, but check it out. The way it's the long way on this freight, on the lift gate, all the weight's on the lift gate because it's all on the lift gate. The other guy had it vertically, so half of it was on the lift gate, half of it was in the truck. How would that ever work? And he couldn't turn it. Where he was unable to turn it because he had no leverage from the front. So there's so many things were different when this guy came to town over here, this next, the second guy. Now, he puts the lift, check it out. So the lift goes down. Piece of cake. Once it hit the floor, I can't tell you how happy I was. All right, then I wound up I wound up helping him push it off this thing because I had to sort of push one side to get it off. But the bottom line was this guy was extremely helpful. Let me show you another video. All right, this second video, I'll show you this one. I came running up when I saw this in this position. Look, check this out. I mean, lift gate, that thing's hanging off the lift. You got to know how much you can push things before disaster happens. That's only going to come from experience. So to gain the experience, don't be afraid to fail, make mistakes, push things all the way, crank them all the way. Do things like this to get an understanding of what will mess up. Luckily, in the mixing world, you're never gonna, damage thousands of dollars worth of stuff by doing it, and you could always undo it. Whereas there's no undo button for a guy like this who doesn't know what he's doing, dumping this load off the truck, and then I gotta wait 6 weeks and file a claim and everything else. So this is a whole lot of different, stakes when you're dealing with this. So check this out. That 29 years of experience comes in. That was scared the shit. So I just want to say we had a running joke going where, he told me 29 years freight handling experience. That's how he got the first one off. And I was like, you know what? And I came running up when this was happening, and I was just yelling, 29 years freight experience. And he would reply back, 29 years freight experience. We had a thing going where it was, it just became a good day at work. I got my stuff. He got the things off the lift. And this guy, I'll play this through. He helped me get the stuff inside. Because, the company was apologetic, the freight company, about the fact that they couldn't, do it the first day. So this time this guy cut the box. We took everything out one at a time, brought it inside. And he helped me carry all these panels, which, like I said, it was about 1,800 pounds per pallet, something like that. And that was a lot of carrying, let me tell you. And this day was like bricker than brick. I mean, the coldest day ever, I was frozen. But it was a great, overall, we got it all done. And that's the important part. Check this out. Look at this thing. Shakety shake, but no fiddling, no wasted movements. This guy knows exactly what he's doing, and that's why it worked. He knew exactly what he was doing the entire time, which put me at ease and allowed me to calm down a little bit. And that's the other thing. When you're working with people, you're mixing a song for them or something, if they don't trust you, it makes everything impossible. If they don't trust you, the whole thing, they're going to question everything. Is this right? Is that right? Is this too loud? Is that not? There needs to be a trust. And that's why it's actually very helpful to pick your clients wisely in a way. In other words, if you get a sense you're dealing with somebody that's an extreme pain in the you-know-what, you just may choose not to work with them at some point. Whereas if you work with somebody who hears the way you do and they're on your page, they get what you're doing, and you guys, there's a mutual respect. You respect them as an artist, they respect you and what you do, whether it's mix engineer or mastering engineer or whatever it is. There comes a thing where you trust each other, and at that point, you don't have to go through every little peck you and little nonsense, everything. There may still be corrections to be made, there may be mix tweaks, there may be something, but if there's that trust, it makes it where now they're not double guessing, double checking every nonsense thing that they shouldn't be doing if they were working with someone they trusted. And that's the thing. Trust is extremely important. And that's also why if you do something for somebody and you never worked with them before, but they don't like the first thing you do for them, it's very hard to get that back, the trust. It's very hard because you're better off going after new clients rather than trying to maintain working with the people that weren't happy with the first thing you did for them. It's a very common thing. So I hope everybody's on the same page here. It's also why every time you do anything, you put your all into it, focus 100%. You make sure that it's your best work because that you may only get the one chance. That first impression of what you do for somebody is everything. So I can't stress that enough. Anyway, I hope you guys dug the video. The next one, I'm about to show you the room where it started and how it gets to where it becomes a mix room and it goes from nothing to something. It goes from just a basic den, like like anybody's living room den kind of thing, to something special. So we'll get to that in the next one. I hope you dug it. If anybody's building their own rooms or you got questions or this and that, my contact info is in the description. So hit me up. We could have a consultation. I do that. I do lessons. We'll work it out. All right. I appreciate it. Evan Jaffe, Custom Cut Studios. You guys got this. Take it easy.